Hi, guys. Welcome back. And we have a lot to talk about. I'm going to make sure, yes, my Yeti is on. This is awesome. We're back to talk about the Real Housewives of New York City. And I cannot believe Kempire just reminded me that this is the last episode before the finale, which blows my mind because I don't actually know what we got out of this season. I hate to say that. We have so much to talk about. If you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button, subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to hit that notification bell because in the future, you don't want to miss anything we have coming up. And when I say we have things coming up, we have a lot coming up. A lot of exclusives breaking even this week. This is going to be really good, so stick around. In the meantime, we'll hit the intro.
It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hey, Kempire, how's it going?
I don't think I told you I love your new intro.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Thanks. I was talking about this with Jason yesterday because he's like, you don't always have to address when you get criticism. It's not that big of a deal. And the intro was one of the things that over a year, it's not just people thought it was too long, but also, you know how like when you do your channel for a while and we were talking about other things that you have coming up for your own channel, how you're excited to make some changes. Yeah. I feel like you grow and you want to change.
You know, it's funny because I get what Jason's saying, but there's an element of vulnerability that you share that I think a lot of people connect with that I can appreciate, and I'm trying to probably maybe tap onto a little bit of more of that vulnerability. But there's a balance. There's a balance of don't let them see you sweat either.
Hell no! If you're trying to tap into my energy, I want residuals.
Oh,
that's not free. I have good energy. I'm just kidding. All right. I can't believe 2 minutes in and we already have 150 something people in here to talk about Real Housewives of New York. Guys, I have to admit, I was a little bit on the fence of doing this recap only because I was watching the episode and it didn't give me a whole lot. Like I'm completely understanding why this is the lowest rated season. I still blame the fact that we only have 5 housewives. I don't think it's because of all the politics and everything else that's being mentioned. Not all of it, at least. Kempire, what did you think of this episode?
I mean, I agree with you. It wasn't the best, but I always love when these ladies get together in the Hamptons. There's just something about it. It's a little nostalgia. It wasn't the greatest episode, and it has definitely not been the greatest season, but I'm hopeful. You know, I'm sure you've seen the rumors about cast changes and blah, 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 blah. I don't know if they necessarily need cast changes besides, you know, who I need her to go. I need her to exit stage left. But besides
always
her,
with Leah, you always have to take every opportunity to throw shade at Leah that you can.
I'm hoping to run into her one day on the streets of New York and be like, "Hey, Leah, how are you?" Because I know she knows.
if we can get everybody to, this is what I propose. We get everybody who collabs together, and now since we have a year in advance because BravoCon was canceled, which that was canceled. The Jen Shah court case that was canceled in October. So now I guess I hate Halloween. That's the only thing I have to look forward to in October, but. That's okay. Now we have a year to plan for next year's BravoCon. I think everybody should go. And it's a cheap flight for you.
It's not even a flight. It's
exactly.
A ferry ride. But no, it worked out perfect because you remember I was going to be out the country. So now I'm like, perfect. I'm not going to miss anything. I won't have FOMO.
Right. No. Okay. I like that. All right. So getting back into the episode, you know, like you said, there were some rumors and you just sent me a screenshot right before we got on here. So I'm going to bring that up. And I have to say, Kempire was the one who showed it to me first. This is what was said because we heard a lot of rumors and this has been whiplash for all of us. Anybody, especially who's talking about it on YouTube, on podcast, blogging about it, whatever the case is, we always hear these rumors from Dumois or Page 6, random different and Page 6 is a little bit more credible than Dumois, but different publications who are letting us know there's a cast change up coming to the Real Housewives of whatever. And we heard that about this season, even though Andy Cohen said on Watch What Happens Live, I don't necessarily think that we need to take away anybody from the current cast. I think if anything, the fans are asking to add to the cast. Then we heard that actually Ramona and Ebony were the only ones who were staying for a full-time role. Sonya was out. LUANN was getting demoted. And who the hell actually knows what's going to happen with Leah? If it was up to Kempire and he was on the casting couch, she would be cut too. Then they were saying, which I'm going to talk about this because you talk about Leah and I have to defend her. And I know you're going to defend this person. But then they're saying we're bringing back Miss Socialite.
Oh.
I can't.
Can I defend her really quickly?
Yeah, I'll give you 30 seconds to defend her.
Oh, damn. Okay, Tinsley, she doesn't bring a lot, but she really is New York socialite era. And she had a lot happen. Although we hear that she's not going to talk about Scott because he's very litigious and he'll be ready to sue her. But we can still talk that she's broken up. She's sad. She's still trying to find a husband. And I definitely think that Dorinda needs to come back the season that Tinsley comes back so they can finalize some of that stuff and move on. Because I didn't love Tinsley. I did not love Tinsley. But I was a little, in my feelings when she left. I was like, oh, this is sad but happy.
Right, but if she were to come back, I do have to say the only way I would want her to come back would be if she could actually talk about the Scott drama, and knowing that she can't talk about it, the only other thing I would want to see from her is addressing this feud that we never really saw any resolve with when it came to her and Dorinda. So if we're not getting Dorinda back and we can't address that, and you can't address Scott.
I don't think that's true though. Legally, look, I'm not a lawyer, but I like to play one here on YouTube.
Where's Emily B. Baker?
Oh, I love Emily, but she's an actual lawyer.
Yeah.
But and yeah, we need to ask Emily this. I definitely think she can mention Scott, even if it's not by name.
She can probably mention her relationship, like the last relationship I was in. He was a monster. He was she could probably talk like that, but I don't know if she can search in the name because Scott's not.
Is he not a public figure?
I don't think he is, but then maybe he is because he owns his own. He's the coupon king. So maybe he is a public figure. I don't know. But I do want to bring up the screenshot that you brought because everybody was getting so excited. We heard that Bethenny Frankel could be coming back and it would be under a few conditions. Now, guys, again, before I mention those conditions, if you haven't already, smash that like button. Let's get as many eyes in the room as we can. Let's throw up the banner right now, but get back to Bethenny Frankel. We heard for her to come back, she would want an executive producer credit, okay? She would only want to film 3 times a week, and she would want a say in who's filming and who's not. Those were the stipulations that we heard. But Bryce Sanders, the host of Entertainment Tonight, did debunk these rumors and said, from what I'm hearing, none of this is true. So is it another rumor that's giving us whiplash? Well, yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what it is. And Bethenny Frankel spoke on this. Thanks to Kempire, we have it. This is what she said. I posted on Insta that my being in talks with Bravo TV is 100% false. I deleted there and took to here because Haiti is what's important and I don't want to clutter messages with false gossip. The leak is desperate for attention. I haven't spoke to Bravo since leaving, and Andy, I don't discuss RHONY. Which makes me sad because I wanted her to come back, but I feel like we all know Bethenny, she's booked, she's busy, she has an empire, and she's also out here saving the world. So, you know what I mean? And you know I'm using that loosely, but she really is always on the front lines when there is some sort of disaster. She's amazing. I love Bethenny Frankel.
I think that's going to be part of her, the greatest part of her legacy. Yes, we love her for RHONY, but what she's been doing around the world with her charitable work and like actual work, not just raising money, is going to be the greatest part of her legacy.
Yeah, I mean, even watching her, and she doesn't do it for the cameras, even though we've seen it on camera, but watching her show up when there's a disaster and passing out envelopes of money, collecting all supplies, toilet paper, toothpaste, deodorant, whatever people might need, food, water. She really is always putting herself out there, and she's one of the first, and Jason always reminds me of this, she is one of the first who answers when there's a disaster. It's almost like she drops everything, which has to be hard because there's Skinny Girl margaritas, Skinny Girl rosé, or whatever she calls it, Skinny Girl popcorn, tea, coffee. She has Skinny Girl pants, everything.
Not pants.
Yeah, she has the jeans.
So, speaking of Haiti, just a reminder to people right now more than ever, Haiti still needs your funds. We cannot forget about Haiti. We just did a fundraiser on my channel last Friday trying to raise money for Haiti. So just a reminder, don't forget about Haiti, everyone. Donate where you can. There's legitimate causes, including Bethenny's, where you can donate, and you can find out more information on my channel.
I heard actually about this, about you raising money. Didn't you raise over $2,000?
Yeah, and I think I'm going to on Friday. The fundraiser is going on until the end of the month, so I'm going to try. My goal is to raise at least $5,000.
Wow, that's insane. Well, good for you, because honestly, it's important to keep talking about this, because as all of this other stuff comes out, and some people, they're just invested in celebrity gossip or just bullshit, really. But really, there's other things that are happening in the world, like what's going on in Afghanistan, what's happening in Haiti. And, I know a lot of people come on YouTube or immerse themselves in Hulu or Bravo to escape from everyday life, but those people don't get to escape. So it's not necessarily fair that it's ignored. So I think it's good.
And that was part of the reason why I did sort of like a mix of just, what we normally do on the channel, but at the same time raise funds. And we had a good time and we raised a lot of really great money.
Good. I like that. And congratulations, Kempire. That was great of you to do. Did you freeze on me?
No. I said thank you. You didn't hear me say thank you.
All right. So we'll take it back to RHONY really quick and let's go through this episode. I have a couple screenshots. The point is, what we were trying to get to is that the rumors have been debunked. We don't know who's coming, who's going, but what we do know is they are filming the Real Housewives of New York reunion today.
Yeah.
So
that was big news.
Yeah. And I hope that Andy Cohen does like one of his normal, drops a photo on Instagram, teases it so we can at least see what everyone's wearing. Before we jump into this episode, who do you think is going to come the best dressed?
But that's the thing. I was hearing mixed things about certain people not showing up, being, coming in virtually. So
they better not Real Housewives of Dallas us with that Brandy Redmond on the screen. Ridiculous. They can't do that. Who would show up virtually?
They were saying, I think they're saying that Ramona's in another state right now. There were a couple, those are rumors. I don't know how, I guess we won't see. But remember, also, Andy did not ask for questions. Normally he asks for questions.
Okay, so there's two things here. One, that's a good point. And I want to know why he wouldn't be asking for questions unless they just already have like the whole list full of everything that they want to know from what they're hearing from the feedback of the show. So they might already have a full list of questions and a 14-hour day to already get through. And two, that would be absolute, excuse my French guys, but bullshit if you can not show up to the reunion because you're in a different state or because you are on a vacation or whatever the case is. You sign a contract for hundreds of thousands of dollars. At this point, I'm sure Ramona is getting paid $1 million plus. That should not be acceptable.
I agree. I really hope that rumor isn't true. I hope that they're all here, especially because this is New York. Everyone's been flying into New York to do the reunions, and New York is not going to be all together for the reunion. That would make no sense. But him not asking for questions, I wonder if he got the note that I put out there that Andy relies on us to ask the questions and him not.
So you silenced our Andy?
I didn't silence Andy. Andy's going to step up for this reunion and actually host the show.
If not, Nicki Minaj she's raising her hand. She's ready. So
he's not letting that happen.
Yeah, no, he's not going to give control away. But all right, we'll jump back into the RHONY recap, guys. 400 in the room. Let's see if we can't get to 5. All right. So we start with Leah McSweeney, and she's talking to her mom, Bunny. Her mom feels like she has an addiction to plastic surgery. And she said, you've had 3 different procedures, which the producers, I love a good shady edit. And they put, well, 1 was her nose, 2 was her boob. And then the 3rd one was not actually a procedure that she had. So she's only had 2, and that's not that big of a deal. Should people be plastic surgery shamed?
No, not at all. And look, I'm not the biggest fan of Leah. Whatever she's had done, it's been decent work. It's not bad. I'm not looking at Leah like, she looks good.
Yeah, I think
so. Leah, that's it. You're not getting anything else from me for the rest of 2021.
Well, and she was also talking about this, which, Jason and I were watching the episode last night, and I had to rewatch a little bit of it this morning. But when she talks about her journey of converting to Judaism, she says, it's harder for her because she's doing it on her own. And normally when somebody converts, they, are converting for their significant other. They're doing it with someone, and she doesn't have anyone to do it with. And she thinks that her parents don't really take it seriously. Do you think she will follow all the way through? Because the only reason I ask this is Ramona almost completely converted, but she did not. She did not follow through.
I don't know if I believe that about Ramona. And
she said she did.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if I necessarily. Yeah, Leah, you do have the motivation, a storyline.
Okay.
That's our motivation. I don't think Leah's going to go through with it, though.
No. Do you think next season we're going to get her and she's going to be like, look, I tried and it didn't work out for me. My life took a different direction. Sometimes you try, sometimes you fail. Okay.
Yeah, I really do think that's what's going to happen. I really look, this is nothing personal, Leah, But I don't need Leah to come back next season.
It feels personal.
No.
No,
It really isn't. I know there are a lot of fans that are very much invested in these shows, and I love talking about these shows. Obviously, I'm here all the time. But with that being said, I could care less. When I get off of here and I'm living my daily life, live your life, Leah. Make your money. You're doing quite well. Rihanna's talking about your shaky fashion. I'm just saying.
So you're saying when you're mowing the grass outside and having a lovely Wednesday, you are not thinking about Leah McSweeney?
Honestly, I'm not.
Okay. All right, Ghostly Gamer, thank you so much.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say thank you. Smash that like button. Love you, Adam. Thank you. Thank you. And we appreciate you. And I know exactly who's behind that name. Love you too.
Oh.
Yeah. She's been around since day one. She's a day one. She's been here since like 5 subscribers.
Oh,
she just changed her name. Yeah. And Pops loved her. And Pops was always like, well, good old Pops. All right. we'll keep it moving past Leah because we know that Kempire is not the biggest fan.
And she didn't have much of a storyline this episode, right?
No, she hasn't had much of a storyline this season. I thought she was really going to, because you know how a lot of the women, when they say I'm going sober or I'm on the sobriety journey, how it takes over their whole storyline for the season. Mm-hmm. She was so easily able to kind of, okay, I'm sober now, that it hasn't been a storyline because she hasn't been struggling with it. She was just able to turn it off just as easily as she turned it on. So it hasn't been a big topic of conversation. She's just been doing it.
What did you think about, I know I'm skipping ahead, but I don't want to talk about Leah after this. But when she was talking about the room, she didn't want to be in the same room because it reminds of her the last time that she was there, about her grandmother.
I could see that.
I mean, yeah, but come on.
No, I could give her that. I have to. Well, I mean, I don't know. I see. This is one of the things that I always get afraid. I mean, I'm afraid to kind of chime in on because I feel like everybody's experience is different. Yeah. There are certain moments like Jason had to pull me back to Florida because I had so many bad experiences growing up here and just like things that I did not want to come back and face. And coming into Palm Beach County or even South Florida in general, I always say the name. It always triggered me. And then he had to kind of get me out of that way of thinking. And for Leah, I feel like that might be a trigger for her too. So I feel like I can relate a little bit, even though I haven't experienced death here.
No, I'm glad you shared that perspective, but you don't think it was just because she wanted a different, better room?
Oh, yeah, that too. But I'm just saying, I think it was a little bit of both. It was definitely that too. But, you know, she didn't want to be stuck in the basement. She's like, put Bershan in the basement.
Poor Bershan. Another episode without Bershan.
Bershan is not getting paid this season. If she's getting paid, it's enough to show up, to get some new clothes, film a little bit, maybe get a flight or two, maybe take a vacation after this is all said and done. But she has missed so many episodes. That paycheck is not fat for sure.
Is she even really considered a friend of?
I mean, Ebony just did an interview about this, talking about how she was so confused and why she didn't say she was dismissive of Bershan, but it kind of seemed like she was a little bit weary or dismissive of Bershan. But she said, you know, nobody could give her a clear answer. She asked the producers, is this my castmate? Is she a friend of the show? What is she? And they never gave her an answer. So Ebony's like,
yeah, they didn't know either.
Yeah, wow. They didn't know. They were just testing her. And we've seen, you remember the redheaded woman, Jen, from The Real Housewives of Dallas that they featured, but then we never heard from her. I mean, on Orange County, we've seen people, Potomac, we've seen Askella, but now she's also doing confessional. So she's made it past that testing moment. Yeah. I think it's just the network's way of testing new women to see how they fit. And if they don't fit, then they don't.
Do you want to see Bershan come back next season?
I want to see more of her. Like, I want to see how she acts in the finale, and also if she's at the reunion, how she acts at the reunion. And that will help me answer that question. Because as of right now, I feel like I haven't seen enough, but I like her personality.
Yeah.
I just don't know enough about her. And I mean, you know, we both talked to her on here. She's great. She's super friendly. She's been through a lot, but we don't know enough about her journey. So
did she even get any confessionals?
No.
Oh,
she didn't get, that's what I mean. She didn't get I don't know if it was because she was so late to the show or what happened, but she didn't get confessionals. She'll definitely be at the reunion. They'll bring her out.
Yeah,
right?
for like a hot second.
It'll be but there's not much to bring her out to talk about except her moment with Sonya.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was such an important moment too in the season, but I feel for Bershan because I'm sure she's just as confused as we are, because you just never know with production and what they're thinking or what they're seeing and what their reaction to what they're seeing.
Right.
I just wish we got a little bit more.
Yeah, well, me too. Karen Courtney, thank you so much for the super sticker. We appreciate you. As for Bershan, I don't think we're going to get a whole lot more. Obviously, we know that this is the finale, but if she comes in, she has to bring it. She's imitating Sonya. We know that the women are going to be imitating each other. I don't know. I'm hopeful though. I'm hopeful, and I'm
at least she was on the finale. At least she's on the finale.
Right, so you don't pay her the whole season, then you bring her in. So there's an extra body in there that might be able to add a little bit of chaos and drama.
I think if we came through on the season, we would have probably gotten more episodes.
I mean, yeah, let me in there. Definitely. I'd be like, Leah would say, I want a different room. I'd be like, Bosh, you earn your right to get a different room in this Hamptons house. Like, have you seen Ramona? She's crazy when it comes to rooms. And then Ebony, I feel like I would get along with Ebony because Ebony doesn't really beat around the bush with anybody. Yeah. Leah, I feel like you would have to call her on her shit sometimes, just to be fair. Sonya, I know I would definitely get along with because I would just keep on her good side. LUANN, I would take Bethenny's approach and be like, life's not a cabaret. And Ramona, I feel like we would not get along at all. I just know we wouldn't, especially after my run-in with Nene. I feel like Ramona would treat me the same way Nene did. So I think she'd just be very dismissive, and I'm here and I've been on the show for a long time. I'm a star. I don't know who you are. I think it would be kind of like that.
And that's why I think why Ebony was such a great addition, because a lot of people wouldn't be able to mesh with Ramona or call Ramona out or still have fun with Ramona after calling her out. I think that's why Ebony was such a good fit for this cast.
Wait, and we have to, obviously we know in the finale when they are imitating each other, Leah is bringing this thing with the blood and that says Kova blood plasma, whatever it says. Oh my God. Do you think that's going to piss Ramona off, or do you think she's going to look at it and do that fake so funny and just kind of internalize?
I think it's going to piss Ramona off, because Ramona also, very much like some of our favorite housewives, understands the assignment. She's not going to just, like, oh, I'm not going to give a reaction. No, I'm going to give you the reaction that you wanted.
Yeah. And Leah knows that she's looking for a reaction. She knows, obviously, she's filming the finale.
Leah's been looking for a moment this entire season, from episode 1, from I'm switching religions to, oh, my grandmother's not. And look, and I get it. No one's taking away. Her grandmother did die. Sorry for your loss. But there's just been moment after moment, desperate attempts to be on the show. I'm going to be a part of Black Shabbat on FaceTime and still be very annoying.
The FaceTime was annoying. That was annoying. But, because you said we were done talking about Leah, I want to switch gears back to Ebony for a second. How cool would it be finding out, and this is another thing I can relate to. 2020, I found out that I had a whole other family who now I spend so much time with, we're all, well, not always together, but always making new memories. Everything feels like the first Christmas, first birthdays. It's really exciting. And for Ebony, she found out that she has her dad, Jude, right?
Yes.
Her dad, Jude. This is actually her dad. He has kids. She has sisters, and she has nephews and nieces. And she's so excited to meet them all. But I'm thinking about it from their perspective. You just found out that you have a sister who's on the Real Housewives of New York. Like, that would be exciting. I didn't get that.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I'm just happy that the reaction to her finding her father and her new family wasn't what we've seen in the past, like with Ashley Darby or Kenya Moore. They actually want to have a relationship with her. I don't know if there's ulterior motives, but overall, I'm glad it's a good experience because she really wants a family. You know what I mean? She comes from just having her mom and her grandmother, and she just lost her grandmother, and now she actually has all of this extended family. I have way too much extended family, so I'm happy for her. But buckle up.
I mean, our white elephant gifting process at Christmas is like 70 people and everybody picks a number. You literally get through like a whole bottle of wine before you actually get to pick anything. You know what game I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Yes, it was a whole process.
We played that on the Real Housewives of Atlanta this year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's when Drew Sidora brought the worst gift ever. Yeah, exactly. You're right. But no, you're right. It's good that she didn't have a Kenya Moore moment and she didn't have, like an Ashley Darby moment, because getting back in just something that I can relate to, if Jason's watching this, he's going to kill me and be like, you shouldn't tell people this. But when we met Pops in that side of the family, it was 3 or 4 years after meeting my mom's side of the family, which we had a totally different reaction from. Some of them were great and some of them weren't the friendliest, and it caused a lot of chaos. And it was almost like, oh, we shouldn't even have opened this box. This was okay. Take it back. We didn't know who you were a year ago. We don't need to know who you are now. And then obviously with Pops in this side of the family, my new family, it wasn't that, reaction. So for Ebony and me knowing both sides of this, I think, I'm really excited for her and I can't wait. I hope that she introduces the new family next season, because we know Ebony's going to be back for sure. I'm
so mad. And I said this to Ebony when her mother was on the phone with her earlier in the season. I said, we need more of your mom. Your mom sounds like she would be incredible for reality TV. So I hope she does get another chance next season. She's not suing Bravo for a second season. She
already said she's not.
Yes. She cleared that up.
She said everybody's reaching. That's the thing that I'm talking about. She said that everybody's reaching. This is another example of these rumors that, Ramona's refusing to show up to the reunion because she doesn't want to look or be made to look like a bigot. Ebony is wanting Ramona fired and demanding it. Dorinda's coming back, but she's not coming back. But Bethenny's here. I'm like, I don't believe anything that's said about the Real Housewives of New York casting rumors anymore.
I know. At this point, I don't want any more rumors to come out because I'm just tired of the back and forth.
I'm right there with you. I'm over it. All right. So then we finally sit down for Galentine's Day. Ramona made it nice. She had this little setting and it was cute.
What's that?
It was cute. The table setup was cute. I don't know what is it called? Swarovski? It's
Swarovski.
Swarovski is the real stuff, but what do you call faux Swarovski?
Oh, I have no idea. I didn't know there was. I don't believe.
Well, that's what's on their head. That's not real.
Oh no, yeah, that definitely isn't real.
I mean, what is that? Okay, so we have Ramona and Sonya here. We have happy Avatar and mad Avatar, because that's what they look like off the movie Avatar. It looked fun, but I kind of agree with Ebony when Ebony was like, how is she going to come in with matching pajamas, these cheap ass pajamas, and she's going to, okay, whatever. I'm all here for a girls moment. It's like, Ebony, I'm starting to like you more and more. And yes, Ramona, we're in your multi-million-dollar Hamptons house, but you're giving them $5 boas, maybe even $2 boas to wrap around their necks, and $5 pajamas.
The pajamas, I was sort of like, what in the Handmaid's Tale are we doing here?
Etsy. It was Etsy.
Oh.
Yeah.
At least she was trying. She was trying to be festive, but no one can be Dorinda.
I feel like she did the same thing that she did at Watch What Happens Live, where she showed up in a friend's dress that a friend made for her. And she's like, oh, you want to give me free pajamas? A friend of a friend of a friend that I know in the Hamptons from a social event with my 50 girlfriends, but you make pajamas? Yeah, give them to me for free and we'll wear it on the show. I feel like that's what this was.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised with Ramona. But I thought at the same time, at least she's trying. At least she's trying. She has all these things planned. She's decorated the place. She's trying.
Well, did you also know, I mean, she tries on a lot of things, Ramona. And one is trying to always make everything about herself. And we've seen that multiple times. We've seen that at dinner. We've seen it in so many conversations with Ebony. And then we hear Sonja Morgan has COVID. Okay. Sonja Morgan's talking to LUANN because she's on this trail of trying to, it's like an apology tour, right? She's on her apology tour and she's letting everybody know that she's sorry, and COVID made her realize, that she was in a bad place. And when she calls Ramona to tell her that she has COVID, Ramona's like, oh, I'm sorry for you, but I got tested this morning and I went to bed last night at 10 o'clock. I felt so great today. And I'm like, Ramona, this is another moment that it's not about you. Your friend has COVID. What is that reaction?
But Ramona, you know, the next day, Sonya says that she started feeling even worse. But Ramona shows up when you really need Ramona. I'm not here to defend Ramona, but one thing that I've heard from multiple people, and even on the show and off the show, when you really need Ramona and you're in a bind or you're going through something, she shows up.
Okay.
I sound like Bershan right now. Oh, my Lord.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of do. Okay. All right. Well, one other thing that we have to talk about before we wrap up this recap, or maybe, before we wrap up this recap, is this one game that we got to play, which is Pin the Tail on the Harry, which technically was Pin the Lips on the Harry. Are you done with Harry Dubin?
No, never.
Really?
Never done with Harry Dubin. Very much like Tinsley is a part of New York. He's part of the social scene. I mean, I'm not socializing with these people, but he's a part.
You know, it's funny because Jill Zarin said that we were missing that masculine energy, and here we go. We have Harry Dubin. He shows up. Sonya Morgan wasn't having it, but he showed up.
Sonya Morgan has a long history with Harry Dubin. She dated him back in the day, then dated him on the show. There's a long history there.
Listen, I'm not shading anybody here because that's what you do, but I just
have the tire marks on my head.
Not today. Today, I feel like we're being good, but
well, up until now,
that's because we're 31 minutes in and I've had enough. So here we go. Watch this. No, I'm just kidding. But I feel like Sonya, LUANN, Ramona, I feel like the Upper East Side is almost like this incestuous dating pool where everyone just kind of swaps and has, like kissed and hooked up with and done everything with everybody who makes it to the Carlisle. Right? Like anybody who can make it to the piano bar, yes. They've seen each other in the sheets.
Ew. It's gross.
Yeah, well, that's what the vibe. I mean, that's the vibe that I'm getting here. Ew. So, except from the one guy who she went on the date with, who we were all applauding Ebony K. Williams for setting up this matchmaker situation, but really the guy didn't even send her a chicken in a pot. And I didn't even know. I don't even still know what that means, a chicken in a pot. Because for me, I'm thinking about, is it a whole chicken in a pot that you cook? Is it chicken soup in a pot? What is
Sonya? Wait, we didn't. You know what part we didn't talk about is Sonya talking about LUANN.
Oh, that's true too. That's why she had to go on this apology tour. She had to apologize. I asked everybody in a poll, and I had the poll up, still do, and it looks like the majority said that they felt like Sonya didn't actually know LUANN was still on the phone because she was boozed up. Because I was like, do you think that she did this for a moment and she wanted to be kind of funny and quirky and have it filmed? Or do you think she was boozed up? Now, I want to ask you the same thing.
I don't think she was boozed up. I think Sonya was just being her usual, just oblivious self. So I think that what happened was she forgot to hang up, but I don't think she was drinking necessarily at that particular moment.
Okay.
I really don't.
Okay.
But you know, one thing I have to give LUANN. LUANN's not a friend to a lot of people, and Ebony talked about that when she was asked, where is she currently with LUANN, and she's like, nowhere. They really aren't friends. Even Heather, when she came back and she talked about a friendship with LUANN, and she's like, no, we don't have a friendship. But I do really believe that LUANN is a friend to people like Sonya. I really do think she checks in on Sonya. So Sonya talking bad about LUANN, yes, it's obvious, but I don't think Sonya, when she says she talks bad about LUANN, it's like, oh my God, I can't stand that woman. She's terrible. I don't want to be her friend. No, I think when she talks about it, she just talks about what we talk about.
Yeah,
like,
it's like cotton candy. Yeah, it's like, oh, not the cabaret again, or like she's very. It's very like surface level. It doesn't seem like there's real deep wounds there. And LUANN honestly should be a good friend to everybody, because when LUANN was hitting rock bottom, I feel like all of the women kind of rallied for her. Not saying that that means that you owe them your life or anything, but you can tell where. I mean, I agree with you. That's what I'm trying to say is I can see LUANN being a good friend, and I can see where the women would be concerned for Sonya. I don't think it was necessarily nice that Ramona was saying, she's hurt because we all married wealthy men, and then she doesn't have any money. She has nothing going for her. But you and I, LUANN, we have money. We're doing better than ever. We got a divorce. We're good.
Does LUANN have money?
Huh?
Does LUANN have real money?
I don't think so. I think that LUANN probably has like 1 or 2 million in the bank, which is still. That's. I don't think that's like the same as like. I mean, Ramona's. They're visiting her Hamptons house. That's probably worth like 6 million, right?
Yeah, the Hamptons are pretty expensive, and she's renovated it.
And she has her beautiful apartment on the Upper East Side in New York, which that's not cheap. Plus she has businesses, plus she has her RHONY money, plus now she's going to get into real estate, which I'm sure she's going to kill it. She's good. Yeah,
Ramona is doing well. LUANN, I think LUANN's okay. I just don't think they're doing as well as Ramona. And I agree with Ramona in one sense. Sonya has not moved on from her divorce from probably like almost 20 years ago. And it's sort of like every business venture that she's taken and everyone tries to help Sonya. I just think Sonya is not good at business and she's surrounded by people that are a little shady.
Yeah, she needs to fire them. But if I had to rank who was the most financially well off, and guys, again, if you haven't already, smash that like button. Who was the most financially well off? If I had to put them in order, I would think that it would be Ramona in this group because Bethenny was back. She trumps all. But Ramona, LUANN, Sonya, Ebony, Leah. Or would you think Leah, Ebony?
I don't know. I mean, we would have to ask Ebony because Ebony's has been open about her finances being shaky in the past. I don't know where it is today. Leah, I'm not too sure about. Like, I don't believe anything that comes out of Leah's mouth. See, you brought up Leah again.
I didn't bring her up for you to put tire marks on her face.
You mentioned her name. You actually, or you said to switch. Which one? Leah. I don't know. I mean, I'm shocked that Married to the Mob is doing well and has been around for as long as it's been. I've never heard of it, and what I've seen, I'm like, ugh.
You can't help yourself, can you?
Just being honest.
Yeah. Okay. We'll take your honesty. All right. So now wrapping this up, moving into next week, knowing that it's the finale. Between that and the reunion, what do you want? Like, what is the closure that you need to wrap up season 13 of The Real Housewives of New York?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, sidebar, I do have to say this, and I tweeted this earlier. At the end of that Harry Dubin game, pinned the kiss on Harry Dubin. Harry Dubin calls on Ramona's phone. I definitely think they are F buddies.
Gross.
I don't think they're just friends. I definitely think I don't think there's a relationship. I definitely think, yeah.
That they both just mutually understand. Let's not talk about it, but let's like meet up and get a little freaky in the sheets.
Yep.
Gross.
Yep. I'm just letting you know.
Okay.
I don't know what, this technically could have been the finale, but look, they still have the whole impersonation of each other to go through. Okay, let's wrap up the season and get it over with because I'm a little sad because RHONY is my favorite, was my favorite of the franchise. And to see it fall like this is, I blame the producers. I blame casting. They shouldn't have done it. They shouldn't have done
done what?
They should. Season.
I was thinking like they shouldn't have filmed it. They shouldn't have.
Know what they should have done? At least add more housewives. Like they really just dropped the ball.
And when I had my conversation with Kate Casey, which, by the way, guys, I did a podcast on Reality Life with Kate Casey, and it is out today officially. We had a great conversation, so you guys have to go check that out anywhere you get your podcasts, as Kempire always likes to say. I'm new to the whole podcasting thing, so just to be fair, I live under a rock.
It's the best place to be because you can say pretty much anything.
How did I just lose my train of thought?
You were talking about...
because you were talking about production. Kate Casey even mentioned, like we have to give them a little grace or we have to kind of throw them a bone here because everybody, when we were in a pandemic and we're locked down, everybody wanted more content. They wanted them to film, but then they had to film with certain restrictions. We didn't want to see masks. We wanted to see trips, and they kind of made do with what they actually had.
Yeah.
So we would have been, it's almost like damned if you do, damned if you don't. We would have been pissed if we wouldn't have had RHONY, and then we're pissed because we got it and it was a lackluster season. But I think, like we've said multiple times, had you have added 2 more women, I don't even care at this point. Throw Tinsley in there. It could have been Tinsley. I don't care. Tinsley and Dorinda, I think we would have had a way better season.
I hate the whole conversation that, oh, COVID. Yes, that's a reality. And I know that's part of the reason why they weren't able to do the trips and things like that. But it had nothing to do with that. It had to do with the personalities that they chose to be on the show and to continue to be on the show. I honestly, I said last season, I didn't want Leah to come back, but I was open to her coming back. They should have added actually more housewives this season. And I think it would have been an interesting dynamic. Look at the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Yes, it's a lot around Erica's story, but there's so many things going on. Kathy Hilton is a delight to watch. There's just a lot going on. Look at Potomac. Potomac is still entertaining. But even Potomac is not perfect, but there's enough housewives to keep it moving. And I think that's where they dropped the ball. Right. And it's all different production companies. So that's part of the reason why you're not seeing the consistency across the board.
I hope Miami doesn't disappoint us too. And I hope the next season of Atlanta, because the Strippergate season, that was like, So I'm hoping, I don't know. I just hope we get back to a better place of filming and how these seasons are going. I hope Orange County really brings it this season.
I'm interested.
We'll have to. Not interested, or you are interested?
No, I'm interested in Orange County because that new Noella, she's got some secrets.
There's a lot of drama happening, and she just unfollowed everybody, right? So
Noella, follow me.
I'm sure. Did you say she does follow you?
No, I said follow me because I have
she follows me, which I said on here. I didn't even know that she followed me. I had to give her a follow back, but she just unfollowed Heather Dubrow and the other two new people. And I'm wondering, obviously, the topic of her divorce and her husband owing $6 million in back taxes. And then why is it on paper that they have primary custody of their kid in Puerto Rico? And then why is she filing for legal separation in the state of California, but then he's filing for divorce in Puerto Rico?
Mm-hmm. And then there's that whole other thing of someone allegedly saying that this is another couple that should not be on reality TV because of the secrets that are in the dark.
I mean, I don't even think that's alleged. That's true. You shouldn't be on reality TV.
Well, yeah.
This is just...
Their secrets are alleged.
Right. Honestly, if I would only go on reality TV if I were someone like Heather Dubrow or Bethenny Frankel, like people who you just know it's clean. They have clean money. They have an immense amount of wealth. They've done it. They've earned it. They've like Heather, like the Dubrows have earned it as a couple, you know, but Bethenny has earned it by herself. You can tell that these are clean characters on the show, but then I don't, like Tamara Judge said, it takes a special kind of stupid to join a reality TV show and behave or participate in criminal-like behavior. So, I mean...
Speaking of, Beverly Hills Tonight.
Beverly Hills Tonight and Salt Lake City is coming up in just a few short weeks. That's going to be interesting. We're going to see Jen Shah, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the fact that she's blaming Meredith Marks for her indictment, which I don't understand. I think that is the stupidest thing that I've ever heard. But...
until we find out the more details, because maybe there's some legitimacy to that.
But even if Meredith okay.
I love
We're not here to talk about Salt Lake City, but this is going to get me frustrated for a second. Even if Meredith Marks, say she received a call and it was from the feds and they were like, we just wanted to know where, if you've spoken to Jen Shah, where is she? When was the last time you spoke to her? If you lie to us, you can be brought in for questioning, blah, blah, blah. As a businesswoman, I would be like, the last time I spoke to her was today, and she said she was going to be at Beauty Lab. So that's all I know. I would say that, but it doesn't mean you're getting. No, I mean, I'm not getting in. Listen, you're not bringing me in and getting me in trouble because you're out here snaking allegedly hundreds of victims or whatever. I'm not going down for that. I have a jewelry brand. So
are people really wearing, look, I don't wear jewelry, especially women's jewelry. Are people like, is that a successful business?
It looks it. I mean, her jewelry is beautiful and it's expensive.
Sidebar, I had to unfollow Seth because his inspirational posts, I was like, they were odd.
I gotta go check this out.
I like him, but I was just like, what is he saying? What is he doing?
I'm also curious to see if the producers bring it, because Brooks Marks, he was kind of like his own housewife last season. So I'm curious to see if they bring him in and continue to, because he has become
the trailer.
Yeah, well, because of the Jen Shah stuff.
He's literally fighting with another housewife. He is a housewife. He definitely needs a confessional. Look, I hope he's ready.
And he'll be ready, even though last year there were some questionable confessional looks that he had, and one of them was when his hair was swooped to the side and he had like this little Wolverine thing going on. But I'm not fashionable, so I don't know. I'm not gonna dog on Brooks Marks, but he is very like dry. Like you can see he's dry and he's sassy, so he just seems like one, he's not going to be filming with them. So if he says anything about them, like Jen Shah or anyone, it's going to be out to the left and they're not going to be able to defend themselves. So it's just going to be a shady moment that everybody's going to be like, yes, Brooks Marks, because nobody's there to call him out about it. It's just going to be him and his mom. And his mom, she looks like a good mom. She puts her kids on a pedestal and she just kind of goes with the flow. He runs that house. Brooks Marks runs that house.
I really believe that, Meredith won't be shading Jen this season. I think she's going to leave it up to her son to do the shading for her, and I'm here for it.
That's a smart way to go. And I love Whitney Rose too. Obviously, she was the first one who gave me an interview from Salt Lake City, and she's sweet and I like her on the show, and I felt really bad for her storyline with her dad last year. But watching her in the trailer where she thinks that Meredith is hiding something or had something to do with what's going on with Jen, I was like, no, I don't believe that. But then again, there's a lot of shit that I haven't believed and it's been true. So
well, we have to remember this was an edited trailer. So sometimes what we think they're trying to tell us is completely the opposite. So I'm going to hold my judgment on Whitney, but Whitney didn't have the greatest season last season. It really, like, the ladies kind of turned on her.
Lisa Barlow is the one who didn't have the greatest season.
No, but she stepped up at that reunion, and I hear this next season she knows the assignment.
Well, I'm hoping so. I've heard that too. But when you say, okay, stepped up at the reunion by what? Whitney and Heather, like bad weather. I'm like,
when I say stepped up, she had been asleep the entire season, and all of a sudden she's having the most fights at the reunion. No one expected that.
Yeah. And she got out of her chair a couple times. We'll give it to her.
The New York in her came out, and I loved it.
Yeah, I'm here completely for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I can't wait to see the new season. I think it's going to be good. Just like Beverly Hills, now there's a scandal attached to it, which is shitty, but it will make people watch.
It's better for our business.
All right. I didn't say that he did. Look how selfish Kempire is. Look at that selfish behavior. I didn't say that, Erica. Just saying.
Oh, Erica, thank you so much.
Okay. The most important, and Kate Casey did say this too yesterday. Before we go, I do find it interesting because we all have kind of centered the focus on Erica when really sometimes it's so easy to get wrapped in to what's going on with Erica because everyone wants the same thing. They want Erica to acknowledge the victim. So in doing so, people are talking about depositions. Where was money spent? Did she know anything? Just everything, right? But then almost all of these little conversations kind of are almost overshadowing the most important part, which would be the victims. And that's unfortunate. But I also just heard that there is another documentary coming out. So if that's the case, allegedly, if there is another documentary coming out, I'm curious to see what it was because The Housewife and the Hustler, they definitely came through.
I mean, there's so much that's happened since The Housewife and the Hustler. I think they could really produce so much because so much information keeps coming out. This week alone, how many different stories have come out about Erica and Tom?
I mean, this is a Lifetime movie waiting to happen. We'll see.
Oh, I don't want a Lifetime movie.
Well, you're probably going to get it. So
without a doubt.
And the Pothouse Family.
Oh, really?
Oh, and her returning to New York.
Oh, gosh. 3 seasons of Leah McSweeney.
Yeah.
3?
We got 13 of Ramona Singer.
Well, good point. Well, we have to remember something. People really do not believe the power that we yield here on YouTube. People are watching, those Bravo producers, casting. They're watching, they're listening, and they're taking notes because the Real Housewives franchise, the franchise overall is in shambles.
Well, can somebody cut me a paycheck?
Well, look, eventually.
I mean,
maybe you can host the RHONY reunion.
No, if
Miami reunion.
if Nicki Minaj is not able to host the Potomac reunion, I have a feeling that there's not a shot in hell.
Well, Andy might not have a choice.
That's true too. Hey, NBC, we're here. We'll do it together. We'll co-host. Put 2 little chairs right next to each other. Good cop, bad cop. Sure.
Oh, who's the bad cop?
I'm not a bad. I'm positive on here.
I'm okay with playing bad cop. Let's go.
All right. Well, invite us to the reunion, or we can host Watch What Happens Live because Bravo's chat room is.
Ooh. How do you feel about Bravo's chat room? Tell me how you feel. I want to know.
I like Portia on it more than I like Giselle, and I hate Giselle. I don't know. I see Andy obviously needed a break and he was probably doing something else, but I'm not I haven't.
Andy needed a break, so he decided I'm going to put something else that I produce on instead of giving another production company, another creative, an opportunity to produce something on Bravo. Okay.
Yeah, because he has to feed baby Ben. So yeah.
Andy Cohen is not struggling.
You don't know his life. Okay.
Oh, do I?
I don't know what you know. You're in New York. I don't know your life either. I don't know.
Chat room, look, you know what? The reason why I think you think Portia does better on the show is because Portia has experience. Portia's been doing Dish Nation for 8 years.
That makes sense.
So she has the experience without a doubt. If she didn't have it before, she's gained the experience in the last 8 years. Giselle maybe needs a little bit more time. I'm not a fan of Bravo's chat room. At least with Watch What Happens Live, I feel like once it happens, we get something out of it and we're able to report on what came out of it. Nothing really comes out of Bravo chat room for us to report on.
Yeah, no, they don't really give us a whole lot of moments, and that does make sense. Like Portia being a part of Dish Nation, and I like watching Portia's reactions. I like when there's a shady moment because she not only gives us verbal reactions, but she always gives us a face, or she takes that head and just throws it way over here, and she's like, "Nah," and you're like, "What just happened?" You know, because sometimes I'm not even watching; I'm just listening, and then I come back and I'm like, "Rewind, what just happened?" So she gets me excited. I do have to say that, but for Giselle, I don't know. I have to give it more time. I'm just not that interested in Bravo's chat room. It's for me, it's like watching Below Deck Sailing Yacht.
And they're not really invested. Oh, not the shade.
Or Summer House.
Ooh.
Or
but you know what it is
with
this show? I think the show needs more time on the air so they can figure out the kinks of it. I miss Kate Chastain on it as well. I think she does pretty well on it, despite being a reality TV star. So I don't think it was a good move, her not being on again.
Yeah, and I also wonder why she's not on it, because they tried giving us some bull that it was because she moved back down to Florida, but we're doing the exact same thing right here. And I'm in Florida, and you're in New York.
Yeah,
so it doesn't make any sense. And also, Portia's in Atlanta, and Giselle's in whatever is the Outer Banks of Potomac.
Not the Outer Banks.
I mean, actually, Outer Banks are nice. So just
Jason, I know you're in the chat room. Where is Giselle?
Is Jason in the chat room?
Yes, he's in the chat. Jason, where is she in the chat room? Is trying to keep up with YouTube. Honestly, good point, Jason. Good point.
He always says that. Jason always says that YouTube is the new. I mean, it's kind of true. I was reading an article the other day where they're like, YouTube drama between YouTubers is the new celebrity gossip because tabloid articles are out of date. And I was like, what? YouTube drama? People care about drama between YouTubers? What is the dumbest thing I've ever heard?
People do. I don't.
Crazy to me.
People do. People do are invested. It's not Potomac. But where is she living? Where's
Let's just say it's in the DMV somewhere. It's not Potomac.
Oh, that's why I felt like they should have called it, the Real Housewives of the DMV. But I guess,
It didn't have as much of a ring.
No.
Okay. All right, Ghostly Gamer, thank you again for the super chat, super sticker. I appreciate you. I love your energy together. Thank you. We appreciate you guys. We have almost 800 in the room. Again, don't forget to smash that like button. She is in Bethesda, a suburb of DC. Thank you, Creative
Diva. That's supposed to be a good area, right? Look, right, Jason?
I mean, I don't know. I can't talk about. Listen. I don't even know how to get from here to my local grocery store without putting on my Google Maps. So don't ask me. I have no direction.
I have a lot of DMV followers, and they've called in when we've talked about Potomac, and I think they say Bethesda is a very good area.
Yeah, it's just not Potomac.
It's just that's not only Karen's living in Potomac.
And she's renting. So really only Monique
Oh.
was the one who was a real resident of Potomac. I'm not shading anybody, but that's true. And also it's not like it's just, you know, the Potomac women who do this. Beverly Hills, which one lives in Beverly Hills?
Oh, yeah.
It's become the Real Housewives of the Valley. So it's kind of like the same thing.
But in reality, for Beverly Hills, no matter where they're necessarily living, they're still living in $1 million homes in comparison to, you know, the DMV. You know, some of them are living in barns.
Okay. Enough of your shade today, friend. All right. Gio, thank you for the super chat. You two together are the best. I am feeling Joe Vaughn.
Perfect. Bring it back to RHONY.
Sarah said, Adam's so messy. That's not me. I'm not the messy one.
They see through you, and they see that I am a darling, in the words of Karen Huger.
Okay, I'm canceling you right now. We're getting off of here. We're done. No more. This video is official. We have hit 55 minutes. Kempire, honestly, all kidding aside. Guys, thank you so much for everyone in the chat. This has been a lot of fun. I didn't even realize, Jason, what are you doing? I thought you were working. I don't even know why he's in here. But love you, Jason. Guys, I always like to end off with a good monologue, just not one of my own. So here it goes.
Guys, don't forget, tomorrow we will be doing a Real Housewives of Beverly Hills recap on the Kempire Daily YouTube channel with special guest Up and Adam. Very first time we're doing a live on my channel together, and it's going to be good because we have a lot to talk about. And I predict we're going to have over 1,000 people in the chat.
Hey, I'm here for that. And also, you know, we all know Kempire's extremely messy, so I'm just coming to clean shit up. So I'll be there. Kempire, thank you so much. Guys, if you are not following Kempire, make sure you go follow. Again, hit that like button. I appreciate all of you guys. I do have a few more exclusives coming this week, so keep your eye out tomorrow and Friday. It's new news. It's going to be good. See you soon. Thanks, Kempire.
Thank you.
All right, guys. See you next time. I'm going to press the end live now and then stare at you awkwardly until it actually ends. So